Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 Road to Glory series for 2019, for episode number 11 today at the German Grand Prix. Last time out at the British GP, the home race, it wasn't exactly the most fairy tale home race, really. It really went wrong right from the very get-go.
I know we were expecting some new developments this weekend, but some of them have failed quality control.
I'm so done!
Williams, are you actually having a bubble here?
He's locked up, I've locked up, and this is actually a ding-dong battle for the wooden spoon, would you believe? Last place in this race. So following that, what can only be described as absolute misery of a Grand Prix, we have some good news here at Germany. Our two downforce upgrades have finally come in the car. Let's just forget the fact that I'm going to come in last week. I won't berate my team anymore for that. I think I did that enough last episode, but they're finally here, along with a chassis upgrade. So 3 decent minor upgrades to the car. So I'm looking forward to this one. Germany's always been a track I enjoy, actually. Hockenheim, very flowing. Obviously, I don't know how flowing it will be in our car, because I suspect it'll pretty much flow over the edge and tip over in some of these corners, but let's just see how it goes then. But it can't get any worse than last episode. You know, that we had to have some meetings. We at Williams can't afford to be having DNFs like that. When you can't even get across the line to even get no points, then you've got no hope in chance. So we just got to stop that. I think we've understood that, and we can reset and come together as a unit to hold up this very unstable, very heavy, very slow ship of a car. And we can move forward from here and try and get back the place we rightfully should have over McLaren. I mean, that's still pissing me off after 2 episodes now. We've been behind McLaren ever since that poor race, and it's just not on, you know. We need to be above them. They need to be the worst British team. We need to be ahead of them. I just can't have that going on. So we're going to move into qualifying then and see how these upgrades go. Into turn 1, you can see a bit of a wobble on the exit there, but to be fair, the car took that turn 1 a lot better than I actually thought it would do, so not too bad. You can see in the top left, actually, we're up into P4, 5 right now, as it stands there, going down the order a little bit, but then by the time we get to the last sector, we're back down in P17, reality set in, so it just seems like those first few corners, you know, not too much downforce involved, we can actually be a little bit competitive, but as soon as we hit the corners in sector 2 and 3, it's all going to crap. I mean, even the game's chucking screen freezes at us once more to push down the order at P18. Can we find any sort of time through the last 2 corners here, up into P18, down to 19 though, as we enter the last bend, little bit of twitch of oversteer, we're down to P19, and so it's going to be last and second last on the grid.
It's a bit disappointing, but we just need to push hard in the race and we can still come away with something.
It is disappointing, you know, for the first time I'll agree with my engineer. It is very bitterly disappointing about that, because, you know, we keep bringing upgrades to these cars, and we see a little bit of improvement, and depending on the track, we see some exponential improvements, but lately, I can't lie, the upgrades seem to be going on the car, and they don't seem to be doing too much, so, I don't know, I almost feel like we have to go back to the factory and verify that these engineers know what they're doing. I remember, these are the same engineers that built a car for this season that is slower than last year's car, so I think we can maybe have a little pinch of salt on the upgrades, quote-unquote upgrades they're bringing to the car. Might need to check that, but for now, we move, we adapt, we overcome, and we go on to the race, and hopefully it'll be a better day for us.
It looks like you've really been focusing on research and development this season.
We've been focusing on research. Oh, yeah, sure, Claire, yeah. Not having those 2 upgrades last episode was a real focus on R&D. Our team have been putting the man-hours in to make sure we're getting a flurry of upgrades every single race.
You didn't practice much this weekend. Are you saving your car for the race?
In a word, yes. Yes, we are. Moving on.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Well, that wasn't really great grilling interview there, Claire, but there you go. But here we are then, confirming those results. P20, P19. I mean, you've got to say, time-wise, we are getting closer and closer consistently to the midfield grid, but the actual grid slot itself is just not good enough. P19, P20, I really kind of hoped that myself and Robert could kind of climb up at least 1 position each by this point in the season. You know, we're about halfway through. We've had points already. I thought the car would be at a better stage, I can't lie, but, you know, these things happen sometimes. It's a slow grind. F1 is very much a slow grind. It's going to take, like I said, a long while. It's not even a road, as I said before. It's a long stretch of motorway from one side of the UK to the other, where I'm sure the Williams car wouldn't be able to even survive that long up and down the UK if it had to drive. The wheels would fall off probably as you got to about London, I would say, if you set off from the south, or we'll probably fall off at like Leeds if we set off from the north. But anyways, we get in towards this Grand Prix. The German GP over overcast conditions, but I don't believe there is any rain forecast for the race, so don't think we need to worry about the car getting any worse in that kind of situation. Setup-wise, in terms of the strategy, it's going to be a one-stop, of course. I did think about starting on the soft compound tyre and doing that kind of conscious strategy of going from slower tyre to faster tyre, but then in the end, you know what, I thought, because the qualifying was quite disappointing, I felt like we needed the soft tyre just to go as fast as we can at the restart of this Grand Prix, really. And unlike last episode, hopefully we'll be a bit more competitive, even though the results have been the same so far in quali. The car did feel better, at least, around Hockenheim than it did at Silverstone, so I'm still quietly confident we can move forward and try and aim for something, at least. But let's just get into this then as we go to 5 red lights to the German Grand Prix from P19 on the grid. Hopefully going to be ending up higher than that by the end of this thing, and we're out and we're on the way. It's a good start compared to the Toro Rosso. It's a very tight turn 1, so I want to take this cautious, but also want to move forward. So we dive bomb down the inside of those 2 cars. There's some contact up ahead, and we have to slow it. Oh my god! Look how close we were to having our front wing or wheel taken off there by Lance Stroll. Literal car park scenes there at turn 1. Boxed in by the Toro Rosso and the Racing Point car of Stroll. And I was probably a pixel away from my front wing being broken. And now we're up into P14. We've had 3 positions there as 5 cars DNF out this race in 1 corner. But now we're miles away from the grid, let alone my teammate. But let's have a look at a replay then and see what went on there. Let's just rewind that back and have a look at what actually occurred there at turn 1, because it all went by in a flash, really. 1 minute I was dive bombing 2 cars, as you can see there, and the next minute I'm stuck behind about 5 cars that parked up, and oh, look at that literal traffic jam of 5 cars all domino affecting together. And that scene right there, that compared to an actual car park, like, it's the same but different. Same but different. Like, it's actually just, I can't tell the difference, really. If I squint my eyes, I really can't tell the difference there. So, yeah, for once, a joke I've made about car parks actually come true in the game. But like I said then, up into P14, absolute miles away from the grid, though. You can see in the minimap, it's a ghost town now on the minimap. There's no one ahead of us. And now another car has gone out there of Giovinazzi, I think, the Alfa Romeo racing car on the left-hand side. So up into P13, that is. There's actually still 1 car in this race behind me, which is Ricciardo somehow, who's going to close up on us. You can see he's already in the mirrors of the proximity tower, so let's see how long we can keep ahead of the Renault car, hopefully until we can catch up to our teammate. But yeah, I mean, I'm even behind my teammate. Once again, 2 races in a row now, I'm behind my teammate and I have to actually catch him and overtake him. What is going on here? This was not in the plan. He is never meant to be ahead of me. He never has been until these last 2 races. I don't know what on earth he's been having in the morning there. It's certainly something a little bit more than porridge, maybe, but we go into the hairpin, up into P12 now, as Racing Point car of Perez is now out of this Grand Prix. He has a little dive bomb look at Hulkenberg there and gets it all wrong, and that's the tyre off there. He parks up there, and so that's going to be another easy overtake. So far, I can't lie, a lot of things are occurring that occurred last episode, of the fact that I'm overtaking so many cars, and none of them have been legit overtakes. The only legit overtake I've made this race was the one, the Toro Rosso and the McLaren at turn 1, and that was kind of aided by the crash anyway. So now we move on to lap number 5. I wanted to pit in on this lap, but Kubica unfortunately stayed ahead of me. I had a bit of an oversteer issue there in the first sector, which didn't allow me to close up, so he's into the pit lane, and so we go on for 1 more lap, and that is 1 more lap enough to allow the Mercedes car, who's already made a pit stop, to absolutely embarrass me in front of the German fans here. Down the inside he goes. That is the difference between a Formula 1 car and a toy masquerading as a Formula 1 car. That's the big difference right there of how easy that was for Hamilton to get past me. But nonetheless, we're going to finally come in for our pit stop. A little bit annoying I couldn't do it, but on the last lap, but you know, that's what happens when you don't have track position. For once, Kubica can actually enjoy being the #1 priority in the team, I guess. So soak it up while you can, mate. You decided to take me out, take the glory last episode, and this episode, you know, you got lucky by not getting held up in that crash there. So I'll get you eventually. So we go on to a set of soft tyres, and now we'll try and plough on to try and catch up to Kubica, and then we'll see what we can do. I mean, literally, it's actually very weird right now. We're nearly halfway through this Grand Prix, and I'm still focusing on overtaking my teammate. Like, that hasn't ever happened in a Road to Glory episode so far. Very, very odd scenes, but it's happening. We've got to stick with it, and eventually we will catch him, because we're pretty close, you can see there. So give it like a lap or 2, and we'll be right there as we move on to the beginning of lap 8 through turn 1. Very nice turn indeed. Kubica very slow. We took a decent amount of curbing on the left-hand side to try and carry forward the speed. DRS open there, but we take it nice and easy at this corner. Try and cut in for a tighter line and a tighter exit here to make sure we get a good slingshot now as we go on to the main back straight, open DRS, overtake mode, standard mixture only, but to the left-hand side, getting very, very close again, and this time we aggressively squeeze Kubica off on the right-hand side, just to make sure he knows who's boss, and just, you know, give him a little elbow nudge of like, okay, that's a little bit of payback for last episode, you know, you got very, very close to us, we'll do the same, and now we're up into P11. We're one place off points-paying positions. It's Lando Norris up ahead, and there's also a fight, I think, ahead of Norris, so let's see how this goes as we move on to lap 10. We're getting some speed now in Sector 1, so the car's going actually pretty okay, and there's yellow flags as well, and that's a dot on the minimap going slow. I wonder, is it another retiree maybe? It's like a Fiat in the Toro Rosso car. He's going very, very slow, and yeah, he's going to park up ahead of us there. So now thanks to another DNF there, we're up into P10. There's only 12 runners at Germany here, so it really has been another bloodbath race here. Silverstone 2 Germany, nothing's really changed here in terms of getting those 3 positions, so we're in the points. So now it's a question, can we get some more points and try and overtake Norris? Because I believe Carlos Sainz isn't ahead of Norris anywhere in the points, so we can get Norris, but in this Grand Prix, we will outscore McLaren and try and, you know, get that position back in the constructors. You can see here also the Ferrari here has some sort of issue. I think it's Vettel at his home race having an issue of being overtaken by Hulkenberg there, and Norris is going to catch up. So if there's enough traffic, I could catch up here to all of that, and we could get a lot of positions. So let's see. My teammate certainly is in the mood to also fight a little bit because he's fending off Daniel Ricciardo, who's still in last place here at this point in the Grand Prix, and Kubica is not giving this up on the right-hand side. They're still neck and neck into the next flat out right hand, and oh my god, Kubica's absolutely taking him out there. I told you, what did this man is dangerous. Lock him up, he's dangerous. He's out here taking people out of the race left, right and centre. Last episode is me, this race is Ricciardo. He's a weapon, absolute unit of a man. We move on now to lap 15, 3 laps to go in this Grand Prix. We're catching up to Norris finally. We're going to have DRS available on the back straight, so it will be a pretty simple overtake, but a very important one up into P9 in this Grand Prix. 2 points there, but crucially more points than McLaren. We go a little bit too deep though as I try and lift and coast there, try and save some fuel, because you can see on the right hand side there I've got a negative fuel at the moment. So Norris comes back at me. We're fighting through this right hander where Kubica took the matters into his own hands. This time, unlike him, I let Norris have the room and we just overtake him and keep that position fair and square. But now we have to do a job of trying to save fuel and keep this car ahead of Norris. But like I said, we can do that. We will try and at least do some work of trying to claw back that position to McLaren. But the man that overtook me with ease earlier on the Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton, has won the German Grand Prix. You can see how unstable this car really is with some warm tyre wear here on the last lap of the Grand Prix. Norris really piling on the pressure, but will just about manage to hopefully survive, taking it nice and easy at that left hand. I've been locking up there all race long, but nice and easy now through the next few corners. Should be pretty calm. It's very difficult to overtake here through this next double right-hander, and so we are going to come home through for 2 points in the championship, but crucially more points than McLaren. That will go a long way, I think, and hope.
Top job, my friend, top job. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but you pulled through. Thank you.
And you see, that reaction, I wouldn't be pissed off at that reaction, but the thing is, if you remember back to when we got our first points of the season, or when I got 5th place at Canada, compare that reaction to that one, and it just doesn't make any sense. But there we go, it is Jeff, it is Williams. I'm not surprised that we've got some people, maybe with something not going on right in that head of theirs, but here we are then. Unfortunately, not ahead of McLaren, but we have clawed back to them a little bit. There's still, well, that's actually quite a long way to go in Williams. What? That's actually quite a big gap to go in Williams' world. That might take 2 races to try and get back, but we're going to try our best. I want to get that position back on McLaren, and also, to be fair, Toro Rosso, we can manage it, but that's quite some way ahead. Toro Rosso got very, very lucky when we had that crazy Canada race there, indeed, so we have to watch out for that, but, you know, every little helps, you know. I mean, we may as well be sponsored by Tesco at this point. We had the car park earlier, now we've got that, I just said that phrase. Tesco, just call me up, mate. My email's there in the bio. Just send me a little business email, well, we can work something out.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
No, you know what? It really helps getting through traffic when they all stop for you and just park up there. It's really easy when they just let you by, you know?
We all underestimated you, didn't we?
Well, I'm not going to fault you for underestimating me, because after last episode, when our team didn't turn up with upgrades, you could be, inclined to think that our team's going nowhere. But no, they finally woke up and gave us the upgrades, and we worked with what we had today and got the result.
Appreciate your time.
So all in all, a pretty decent episode there. Beat McLaren, beat my teammate after being miles off him on lap 1. Didn't get crashed out by him this time round, and got on the points. So, you know what, I'd call that pretty successful, actually. It feels a little bit deflating compared to other results we've had, but you've got to remember, I've got to remember, we're in a Williams car, so really that's a big win, having 2 points-paying positions by the end of this race. And so we go through to the end. We can only, unfortunately, afford 1 upgrade there on the downforce side of things, so a rear minor downforce upgrade, which will hopefully actually come in for next time out. If it doesn't, I actually might throw a controller out the window, or even my wheel, in fact. But that will come next episode. But guys, if you did enjoy this one, be sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're on your own, subscribe for weekly full-on content. I've been aarava. Have a good day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.